Hey folks, how you doing? We have, of course, myself and Mr. Brightest Day in the house,
Glad to
representing
be back.
Rogue Entertainment. Yes, as always. But it's wonderful to see everybody this evening. We're waiting on Lady Arwen because she did inform me she's having a few internet issues and whatnot. So as soon as she can get here, she'll get here, hopefully. But until then, your boy Zach and me, we got this on lockdown. That's how we roll. So let's say hi to our chat this evening. We've got Lobster in the house. Yeah, you're first, Lobster. You're always first. I mean, this dude always like waits till like the live streams like counting down. He'll just sit there and stealth comment just to have first comment. Of course, the wonderful Janet from Another Planet's here. Hi, babe. It's great to see you. Thank you for being here as always. Um, she's also wrenching tonight, so thank you for pulling double duty. And we've got a lovely Sherry in the house. Sherry, how are you? It's good to see you. Thank you so much for supporting all of our streams and supporting this channel, supporting both myself and Brightest Day. You're an awesome person, and we absolutely think you're a wonderful, wonderful woman. Cold Era, great to see you, Cold. How you doing, brother? Awesome that you're in the house tonight. Our one of our favorite buddies, Shane Nolan, up in the house. Great to see you, Shane. Love to see you. Mr. Angel, hello, sir. A Battlestar fan, of course. Always good to see you. And haven't seen your name in the chat too much, but thanks
He
for
is a
being here.
he is a emissary from the Nerd Cookies sphere of the world.
Awesome, awesome. So great to have that. Wookie, I almost read that wrong. It's a good thing that you said Daggett representation. Wookie supremacy. What up, Look? Oh man, my boy Freeze Peach Gaming. What's going on, dude? Um, I love Freeze, and Freeze and I definitely got to do something together. We've been uh, talking about it, and one of these days, he and I are gonna figure something out. We're either gonna do some Rocket League or something. We're gonna do something gaming related together. Um, Shane saying what's up to Sherry, and Angela Draven's in the house. What up, Mr. Sparkly Vampire Draven? How you doing, buddy?
Shout
It's
out to
great to
Angelus
see
just
you.
making affiliate on Twitch.
Yeah, good shit, bro. Nice. You got affiliate. Um, I really need to reopen my own Twitch channel. I just got it sitting there collecting dust, and my channel's affiliated and monetized, so I need to go back and actually do something with it. And I'm gonna figure out a schedule, and I think I'm gonna go back and start playing around on there myself. So props to you, AD, for sure. Um, we've got Blue-Eyed Root Korean the Based in the house. What's up, Tony? Great to see you, my friend. So tonight's episode that we're doing is Revelations, and I feel like we've been away for been on hiatus for like 2 weeks because the week before we did do the show, and then there was Thanksgiving, and I was planning on actually doing a Thanksgiving show together. You know, we were going to get together do Thanksgiving, and I'll tell you what, just as many of you after you have your Thanksgiving meal, you have that nap afterwards. Yeah, I had that nap afterwards, and I was done. So you could blame that on me, because man, once I ate, it was food coma and good night. So that was how that went. So that's why we didn't have a Thanksgiving edition and do this episode on Thanksgiving. So, yep. we're here tonight, and that's what counts. So you have me and Zach, and we're doing Revelations, and this was kind of after just coming off the destruction of the Resurrection Hub in our previous episode. So yeah, there's some interesting fallout that happens in this episode. So I don't know, Zach, if you want to give a brief overview, whatever, before we get into it, go for it.
So this episode was the mid-season cliffhanger for season 4.
I'm going to bed. Give me one.
So this was the mid-season cliffhanger for season 4. The other half of this cliffhanger won't air until a little later in the next year. This was about the time when the writer's strike worries had started to hit the crew of the show. And they kind of wrote it in such a way as if they needed it to be a series finale, it could have been, although it would have been a very unsatisfying one. But there's a lot that gets wrapped up and brought to light in this episode. I think it's worth at least 2 watches, because there's a lot of things that harken back to previous episodes in the season and the series. So.
Yeah, there really is, and I don't want to say this is when I want to be very careful how I frame this next comment, because I don't want to be blanket unfair to the rest of the season. But I feel almost like this is where the writing took a downturn. Do you agree?
Well, I mean, we've hashed this topic out a few times. I would say that the whole of season 4 is probably that. But again, with this being where they feared the fallout of the writer's strike, you could probably make that argument.
Yeah, that's where I kind of thought it was, but I agree with you. It really was at season 4, because season 4, to me, to be fair, was very lackluster. I mean, that's in a nutshell. Any fan that you talk to will tell you the same thing. If you're a BSG fan, you've watched this program, you know that season 4 was probably the least favorite season by a long shot for anybody that is a fan. I mean, I'm sure there's some fans out there who'll say, "Oh, season 4 was brilliant," blah blah blah. And that's fine. But from an objective standpoint, when you look from all the seasons 1 through 4, this was easily the weakest. Hail to Macklin. Hey, Macklin, great to see you. I hope you're having a good night, girl.
Yeah. I've actually got the note here. It says, according to comments made by Ronald Moore at the 2008 San Diego Comic-Con and included on the season 4 DVD, Revelations was designed to be the final episode of the series in the event the SAG writer's strike had prevented the series from continuing.
All right. And here is Parrot Head. Hey, up to you, buddy. Great to see you, Parrot Head. Hope everything's good. People were admiring your handiwork in the Discord. That's all I got to say. Last night. Oh, man. All right. Well, without further ado, Zach, why don't you take it away and let's get into the breakdown.
Absolutely. As Drew said, this is season 4, episode 10, Revelations. If you have not smacked that like button, please do so now. If you have not subscribed, if you're new, please do so. The episode opens on Lee, standing in his father's empty quarters, holding a book depicting the Temple of Aurora on Earth. As Kara sparks up conversation, the two mournfully discuss the absence of the Admiral and the President. Lee confesses that both he and the XO are intimidated by the Admiral's chair, while Kara recalls the harsh words Leoben told to her as he held her captive, about parents needing to die in order for their children to reach their full potential. On the Rebel base star, Roslin, Adama and the gathered rebel Cylons discuss the plans to return the hidden Cylons among the fleet. Deanna pulls a double cross, refusing to reveal any information, and instead taking the humans hostage. She expresses concern that the humans would kill the Four if revealed, and cites the failure of cooperation between human and Cylon on New Caprica. Roslin convinces Adama to give the order to stand down, and Deanna commands him to accompany her on a raptor to Galactica. He initially refuses, but again, Roslin convinces him, while telling him to use any means, including destroying the rebel base star, to prevent the Cylons from securing the final five, and thus Earth. Back in Galactica's CIC, having returned to duty despite still having problems with his amputated leg, Gaeta is seen struggling and knocking over his medication. Duala assists him, and despite Colonel Ty's offer to be relieved, resumes his post. Just as Adrada's contact appears on screen, followed by a second, quickly identified as the rebel base star and one of the Raptors. On the hangar deck, Adama and Beers step out of the Raptor, as Tyrrell, Anders, and Tori Foster look on from the catwalk. While William Adala greets his son, Deanna steps off the Raptor and looks at each of the four in turn. Adama and Deanna explain the situation with the latter, claiming that she's already in contact with the four, that they will come to her willingly, and that all the fleet needs to do is not interfere with shuttle traffic, terms to which both Adamas agree. Tori Foster steps forward, asking to bring Laura Roslin her medication and see if she's all right. Knowing that she wants to defect, Ty tries to prevent her from going by saying that they shouldn't give the Cylons more hostages, but he's overruled by Lee and William. Back in the Admiral's quarters, the Adamas, Ty, and Kara discuss a plan to rescue the hostages. The Admiral mentions Roslin's recommendation, but ultimately leaves the call up to Lee, who agrees with the plan. And that's the end of the opening.
You know, I initially thought that they should just go and storm in and take it by force, and then I kind of rethought that. I don't know. How about you?
That would have been a massacre.
Yeah.
So this entire series, they already don't have a large contingent of Marines. Like their actual troop force is really small, and then with half their people, or at least a large sum of their people held hostage on the base star, it would have been the end.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it really calls to light a lot of what's happened in the last couple of episodes up to this point, in that there's, despite all the talk of trust and working together, there's backstabbing and double crossing at every turn. Like everyone wants this, for lack of a better word, the MacGuffin of the final four or the final five.
Mm-hmm.
And regardless of whatever deals they make, no one's willing to honor their word, really.
No, everybody makes these deals, but they hedge their bets, It's like, where they've got some self-serving, contingency in place with every deal they make. So it's like, yeah, it's totally one of the things going on, and it's pretty crazy.
I think the other important point is the split loyalties among the four of the five. I'm not sure how to address them. I think they're called the Hidden Four at one point in the wiki, but the ones among the fleet, you have some that want to remain at their post. You have ones like Tori that want to just go be Cylons, and then you have guys like Anders and Tyrell who, basically have no idea what they're doing and they're just kind of being led by their nose.
Yeah. I mean, Ty, it's clear Ty wants to continue his duty. He fully intends to continue, working his job, doing his duty. And I mean, that's the bottom line to him because, and a lot of it comes down to familiarity and routine. He wants to stay in that because that gives him structure in his life. So it's understandable why he would want to continue to do that. The other thing is with Tori, you can see like she's kind of that. She's kind of that. God, I don't want to say the word, but yeah, she's kind of that selfish bitch,
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty popular assessment of her character in general.
And then you've got the other ones who, Tyrell and I think Anders are just they're doing their thing where they're like they're kind of caught in between because Anders still wants to be a pilot, still wants to do his duty, but he also still wants to be around his wife, and then he's yeah, I mean, but he's wanting to continue pretty much to have at least some kind of routine. And I think a lot of it boils down to the fact these people want routine. The only one really that is the maverick in this whole thing is Tori, because she's like straight up, screw this. I'm gonna go what's best, what gets me the most benefit. So yeah.
Well, I think it would have been interesting to see how Galen's how his thought process would have changed if Callie had never died. Like if he's, because I think you touched on what Anders is holding on to, which is his partly his attachment to Kara. I think if Galen still at least had some loving relationship to hold on to, if he had never lost her, maybe his tenuous hold on his split personality might have been a little different.
Bashiwashi asks, do you think they had the idea to make Kara as one of the final five? From what I understand, they did flirt with that idea. There were actually some pretty heavy discussions about it. And if I think about it conceptually, maybe it could have worked, but they wanted something different out of Kara. Now, I wouldn't have minded that she be one of the final five, but I don't know. I'm torn. I didn't like the whole angel thing either. I just preferred mortal, normal Kara, if I'm being honest. And I don't know. That's my take. What do you think about that? About his question, Zach?
I mean, she basically becomes the definition of Deus Ex Machina in the last couple seasons. So
yeah,
and that's a really heavy-handed piece of storytelling. The fact that she's this wayfarer guardian angel is, I mean, it works for what they wanted to do. If you asked me, and I'm pretty sure there's probably evidence out there, they probably had plans to make multiple characters possibly part of the final five, or at least a contingency plan of how would we do this. I think there are characters they could have picked that would have been much better. It would have served them better to pick characters that were not directly in the conflict between human and Cylon, like tertiary characters, like Romo Lampkin would have been an
dude, yeah.
absolutely perfect choice to be one of the final 5. Would have been absolutely perfect.
Oh, dude, yeah, he would have been great, and he would have
That
killed it too.
That would have made an absolutely great character even better. And there are, you could probably find 4 other characters like that. They're like, these are characters that are on the outskirts of the story, but that still have, you know, attachments to several key characters to say, yeah, that's a Cylon. Would have blown people's minds.
Yeah, absolutely. Tony says, agree with Drew in context of the whole series. At this point, it seems much of the series becomes rushed and muddled from here on out. And this series exposes the beginning effects of studio meddling, which, yeah, it really does. You know, you can start to really see it from that aspect.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I made mention of this quote before, which I can't quote because it's too long, but from the 2008 San Diego Comic-Con by Ronald D. I'm just going to post it in the chat.
Yeah. Bashy Washy says Kara should have been the daughter of number 7. Are you referring to the Daniel Cylon?
Yeah, I thought that she was. That someone said that in the previous chat.
That could have been quite interesting. You know, yeah. If
I'll be honest, I actually forgot that character existed because I hadn't rewatched that season.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure I would have minded that, actually. You know, I always like for there to be a good continuity, you know, an understandable continuity, and just trying to take Kara to like a next level kind of character. Yeah, you could have went Cylon with her, and I wouldn't have minded going Cylon with Kara if they did it right. Hetty says, Zach, remind me not to fly with you. Hi, Hetty. Great to see you.
Well, technically I'm dead, so no problem there.
Yeah. Oh, man. Free Speech says, cursed popularity. More people that watch, the more studio execs want to step in. Yeah, and that's the problem when you get something that's a hit. Because, you know, we take modern television as far as longevity, you know, just pay attention, you guys, to what they've done with shows like, you know, Law and Order, SVU, stuff like that is, you know, been on for a long time, and that's considered, you know, a huge hit. They've you know, you always get exec stepping in, and then you get that stupid behind the scenes struggle where they impose restrictions on it, and it just takes away the quality of the show. So,
and that's something that's only gotten worse over time.
Oh God, yeah. Well, same thing with NCIS, dude. You know, they did that as well with NCIS. So, you know, it seems like shows, when they become wildly successful, you know, within 3 or 4 seasons, you definitely see the meddling coming in. So,
all right, continuing on.
Yeah, continue on, sir.
After the opening credits and Galactica's Situation Room, Kara and Athena officially present their rescue plan. Ty expresses skepticism at the expected high losses of boarding the base star, pondering other options. Starbuck sarcastically comments that the 4 could just give themselves up, ignorant of the look of dread on the Colonel's face. On the base star, Tori is led to the control room with Deanna announcing her identity as one of the final 5 to those gathered. Leoben expresses doubt, but Beers attests to the truth she saw in her vision. Foster cocks an awkward smile as the other Cylons stare in amazement. Elsewhere, Roslin bandages the wounds of Gaius Baltar, who expresses his gratitude for her not outright murdering him. Roslin, however, confesses to what she told the Admiral about destroying the ship they currently occupy. The two are interrupted by Tori and one of the remaining sixes entering the room, the former bringing Rosalind her medication. Foster clarifies how she came to be on the base star, prompting Baltar to attest that he subconsciously knew that she was one of the final five. Rosalind confesses she had no idea about Tori's identity, and as the newly revealed Cylon walks away, she implores the President to ponder what else she may have been wrong about. As Laura tries to get her to stop and facilitate the release of the hostages, Tori states coldly that she's done taking Laura's orders. Outside the base star, the orange-clad body of a deckhand is shot into the vacuum of space. In the CIC, Lee Adama receives a transmission from Beers, who announces that there has been a change of plans. She threatens to execute another hostage every quarter hour until the rest of the hidden Cylons join the rebels. Cutting off the call before Lee can respond, she leaves the humans no choice but to go through with the rescue plan and the contingency. On the hangar deck, as the pilots and deck crew prepare for the mission, Tyrrell begins hearing the strange music again, heavily distorted by screeching and static. In the squadron ready room, as Starbuck and Athena brief the pilots, Anders likewise hears the music, as does Ty in the CIC and Foster on the base star. The three remaining on Galactica are drawn to the still pristine Mark II Viper. Tyrrell suggests that something about the Viper has changed, and Anders suggests that Kara might have the answer. Ty agrees, ordering him to retrieve her. Before storming out, down the hallways to Adama's quarters, where he tries to convince the Admiral to scrub the mission. Bill implores him for options, and Ty proceeds to confess that he's known about his status as a Cylon since the Ionian Nebula. Adama expresses doubt and can't believe that his 3-decade-long friend could be a Cylon, much like most of the audience. He suggests that Ty could have been brainwashed on New Caprica, and he says that they should see Dr. Cottle. Ty reasserts his claim, and offers himself up to be spaced to prevent any more casualties. So we here have this catastrophic reveal between our two lifelong friends in Ty and Adama. Are you there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm just, it's just, I don't know. Did that moment seem to have the gravitas to you that it should have had? Because I don't know if it hit me with the gravitas it should have had.
No, I think, and likewise with Tori, like those two reveals just kind of felt dead in the water. And I think
They did. And I was really surprised by that. Before we discuss it more, there's some great comments I wanted to get to because Mashy Washy was talking about his, when it was going on about his observation about Kara. And he said, oh, that's why, she could have been special. She could have been the first true hybrid, been connected to the stream of things like Zoe was in Caprica. And I wouldn't necessarily have minded that. Tony says, Kara lived a mortal life, died, and was resurrected to get them to their final destiny. Clearly, she was a key player in events that led to the fleets finding a home. And that was from Ronald D. Moore's TV Guide interview. And I don't know if there's any more beyond that. I think you call her an angel, you call her a demon, the second coming or the first coming, I guess, chronologically speaking. You can say that she had a certain Messiah-like quality in the classic resurrection story. There's a lot of different ways you can look at it, but the more we talked about it, the more we realized there was more in the ambiguity and mystery of it than there was in trying to give it more definition in the end. And see, I'm so torn on that, because I mean, what do you really do with Kara?
I think that explanation makes it sound like they wanted to remain non-committal to not have to justify their decision as to whatever she would have actually been.
Yeah.
Which is a safe bet, but it also leads to this kind of this history of questioning their I'm not going to say their plan, because clearly they had very little of one. Like, it was understandably a difficult time with the writer's strike going on. So I think they did the best they could, in all honesty.
Take care, Hetty. I hope you have a great Friday tomorrow. But yeah, we can go back to what we were talking about with the reveals. I don't know. I know Mr. Angel says I actually like that scene. Meltdown Adama has makes him very human. Ty's reaction makes him human too.
Yeah, it's like the moments leading up until they start slugging it out kind of felt hollow. They do pick it up later on, and they do it again later on in later episodes. They touch back on it and kind of give more weight to it. But it and I really feel like coming off the heels of Tori just is like, hey, guess what? I'm a Cylon. And Baltar's like, I knew it, even though that's bullshit. And Rosalind's like, I was completely clueless.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting, but
it was kind of ham-fisted. It really was. I didn't. I mean, that Tori's reveal to Baltar and Rosalind was just that was kind of a wet fart. Not gonna lie, it was really kind of a wet fart. I can live or I can kind of go either way on the Ty and Adama one, but it's like you said, it was more of a we'll add more weight to it on the backside type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, once they got into their brawl, then Breakers was like, you know how many times I've repaired this thing? Like that felt more appropriate, but
All right, man, if you want to go ahead and pick it up.
As Marines escort Ty through the hallways, William Adama suffers a nervous breakdown. He rampages through his office, smashes his fist into a mirror, and drinks heavily. As Adama cries, his son finds him and tries to comfort him. Adama says that he can't kill Ty, and Lee tells him that he'll handle it. In the launch tube where he's being held, Ty is interrogated by Lee, demanding to know who the other Cylons are. From the control room, Dualla announces a call from Deanna. Lee threatens to flush Ty out the tube if she harms any more of the hostages, telling her that she has 10 minutes before he pushes the button. From Ty, he again demands the identities of the rest of the Final Four in order to save the fleet. Standing next to her Viper, Kara expresses doubt about Anders and Tyrrell's suspicion regarding the fighter. Marines storm in and arrest Anders and Tyrrell. Marine Sergeant Harder reveals to Starbuck that her love and the former chief are Cylons, just like the Exo. Shocked, Brace questions Anders, who confirms the news. As he's dragged away, Anders implores her to find whatever has changed about her bird. In parallel actions, both humans and Cylons move their respective hostages. As Kara starts to investigate her Viper's cockpit, the screens coming alight as escalations between the two groups climb. Gaius Baltar is led to the base star control room, where he tries to talk Deanna down, in contrast to Tori's assertion that Lee will cave under pressure. Dualla informs Lee as the base star arms her nukes, and he orders Ty be isolated in the airlock. Baltar suggests to Deanna that God may have brought Beers back for a different purpose, to end the conflict peacefully. She argues that the Colonials will never forgive the Cylons for what they did to the 12 colonies, and gives the order to proceed. Meanwhile, Kara makes a mad dash through the passageways of Galactica. as Tyrell watches the launch tube door close on the Colonel. Baltar argues that brute force did not work for the Cylons in New Caprica or the algae planet, and asks why it would work now. As the Cylons gain weapons lock and Ty coaxes Lee into pushing the launch button, Kara dashes in just in the nick of time, claiming that the 3 Cylon captives have just given them Earth. So here we have this pretty well-rounded Mexican standoff with heightening tensions that come to a head just at the end of the act.
Pacing was really good. Pacing for this episode was really good. I liked it in a way that they kind of sort of stacked different events on top of each other to kind of show the build up. Really well done. It just I just had to chuckle because thinking back on it, it's like Kara's running through the hall like, my magic viper. Look, stop. The 3 Cylons gave us Earth because my magic viper. So that was it's pretty funny to think about, but yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the pacing. I think that was really well done in this entire episode. It's just I don't know, certain things didn't have, at least to me, the impact that they should have. And, I'm probably in the minority on that because it's like, I know that even Bashi Washi said, I think the interaction with Ty and Adama was perfect. And yeah, it did get better. But, I mean, the very initial moment was kind of in my book. So,
yeah, I mean, and that's a lot of credit to Edward James Olmos. It's certainly not the first scene in this show that he's made live.
Right. Exactly. So, but yeah, I just it always kind of makes me, for some reason, when I watch this episode, I chuckle when I see Kara like making a mad dash through the hallway, like my magic viper.
It's almost like I forget the tale, but the viper is the Pegasus, like the Pegasus of legend, and she is whoever the rider is. Like it's horse and rider. Yes. Hi.
Yeah.
Sorry, my cat is screwing with my green screen.
No problem. Magic Viper really sounds like a new a new sex toy they want to advertise.
Okay, sure.
They wanted to tap into cyberpunk upscale crowd, riding the coattails of women who liked the Matrix but really had no idea what was going on, but embraced the sexy rebel look. Interesting, Tony. I like that. Apologies, but I noticed it's 04:17 hours here. I need to get some sleep. Good night and have a great weekend. Mr. Angel, take care. Thank you so much for stopping on by. I appreciate you. We always like talking some BSG with BSG fans. That's what this show's about. So thank you for coming by, and we hope to see you every Thursday from now on. So make sure you pop in when you can. Thank you.
And tell other people.
Mother was a toaster. Nice. Oh, man.
Yeah. So I'll be honest. When I was starting to do the work on the Cylon War Stories video I released a couple weeks ago, I tried watching Caprica again.
Oh, God.
I didn't make it any further in than I did the first time I tried. I made it like 2 episodes in. I'm like, this is why I didn't watch this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I couldn't. I watched, I think, when Caprica came out, I watched the first 5 episodes. And I was checked out by episode 5, dude. I couldn't. And it was just the way that it was. It just, yeah. It didn't, It didn't register with me. It lost me. And I think part of it was they were going for a completely different audience. And of course, by that time, as Tony suggested before, sci-fi had rebranded into social justice sci-fi. That was the beginning. If you want to say that was the beginning of woke sci-fi, maybe so. I mean, maybe so. We can look at that and debate that, because we were approaching, I believe it was 2008 at that point. We were approaching the start of really wokeness and the push for wokeness from Obama.
Mhm.
So
I mean, within the first 5 minutes, you have the little girl that's the key to everything. Literally,
Mhm.
first 5 minutes.
yeah. So yeah, that's why I say when I look back at Battlestar, for the duration of its run, this was, by all intents and purposes, pretty much the last great sci-fi show under the traditions of what we know. So,
Okay. So let's finish. I believe this is the last act. There might be one more
okay.
after this. Lee sits in Kara's Viper, recognizing a colonial emergency locator signal, while also noting that no other wireless in the fleet is picking it up. She argues to a skeptic that it must be a signal from Earth, insisting that some higher power is orchestrating events for a purpose and wants the colonials to find Earth with the Cylons. Starbuck, Lee, the fleet Cylons, Deanna, Marines and Centurions stand around the Viper as one of the eights sit inside. Those gathered discuss the signal, with Lee saying that he decided to share the information with the Cylons rather than just jump away, as that would only lead to further confrontation later on. He argues that peace is possible, and says that he has granted Ty and the others amnesty. Upon hearing this, Deanna agrees to release the human hostages. Adama shows his father the location of Earth, asking for his orders. Laura walks in and says she wants to see him pick up that first fistful of Earth. He walks away, saying that he'll be back. Lee Adama then talks to Rosalind about stepping down, and she praises him on resolving the crisis, saying that the fleet will need that kind of leadership in the years to come. Admiral Adama returns in full uniform, saying that they should find Earth. His son says that he's been working on a recon mission with Kara. The Admiral replies that everyone should go together, that they don't have anywhere else to go, and that the Alliance will fall apart if they hesitate too long. In his view, famously, they need to roll the hard 6. In the CIC, Duwala announces that the fleet is ready to jump.
Board is green.
Admiral Adama tells Rosalind that they wouldn't have made it without her, and asks her to give the order. She does so, and Duwala counts down, and the fleet jumps. The entire Rebel fleet, now including the Rebel base star, successfully makes the jump. Adama tells Gaeta to take his time with confirming their location. After some seconds, Gaeta announces that the constellations match. The fleet has jumped into orbit of a blue-white planet, Earth. Adama makes a speech to the whole fleet, announcing that they have arrived at their new home. All over Galactica, and throughout the fleet, people rejoice ecstatically. We see a detachment of Vipers, Raptors, Heavy Raiders, Cylon freighters, as well as several civilian ships fly toward the surface. On the planet, a grim Adama lifts up a handful of soil. Someone next to him reads the dirt with a Geiger counter. Soil is heavily irradiated. President Rosalind stands next to Adama, disappointed, and Deanna stands stunned. Many others, including Carl and Sharon Agathon, Gaius Baltar, Leodama, Kara Thrace, the Hidden Four, and the Cylons are on the surface as well, walking and standing around on a riverbank near the ruins of a city which has apparently been destroyed. The mood is dismal, with everyone wondering what happened to Earth and what they will do next. And the episode fades to black. So
Yeah. This was the great they they get to Earth and it's all fucked up.
yeah, the great bait and switch, as it were.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to decide, given the statements that I saw had been made about this, whether or not I would have been perpetually angry if this were the end of the series. Like, I think this would have been one of the worst endings of a show if they hadn't gotten the end of the 4th season.
Dude, can you imagine? Oh my God, people would have felt like they were trolled so badly.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my God. I guess in the end, the inner somewhat troll in me could appreciate that, to have the balls to troll the audience that way.
I mean, yeah, but
at the same time, yeah, you're right. It would have been absolutely shit. People wouldn't have enjoyed it. And I really think, and I agree with what Tony says largely about Caprica. That the Blood and Chrome really, all in all, corrected the storyline. So
I agree with Bashi Washi. It's definitely not as bad as the Game of Thrones ending, but
no,
I definitely wouldn't have been happy
still,
with it.
if this would have been the ending, Bashi Washi, can you imagine how badly trolled the audience would have felt? Man, I could just, oh my God. The sci-fi boards would have been lit up. People would have been bitching. God, my own community, Pegasus Actual, Jesus, our forums would have been a mess if this would have been the ending. God. Oh. Yeah.
It does set up, and I know we haven't gotten there yet. I brought it up more than once in previous streams. One of the more crushing deaths of the 4th season, and probably of the show in general, is a direct result of what we see in the end of this episode.
Oh yeah, and the thing is with the way that this turns out, I think a lot of people ultimately, even though they bitch about the very, very much so that the finale wasn't up to snuff, most people still say I'd rather have this finale than if this would have been the end. So.
Yeah. I mean, it leaves a lot. I mean, it leaves a giant loose end right at the end. It's like, okay, you've reached your destination, but it's not what you thought it was going to be. It's like, okay. I don't even know how I would have changed this if this had to be the end, what I would have done differently. The only thing I can think of would be to have had another splintering of the groups going off in 2 different directions, trying to find a new home. And that could have led you into 2 parallel series, or another series that brings them all back together later on, or a movie or something. But it's the only way I could think to have done this differently.
Yeah, exactly. And this wasn't ever going to be conducive to branching it out into motion pictures and everything else. They did an amazing job just branching it out into the razor and the plan and stuff like that. I mean, if they would have tried to go too much further with it wouldn't have translated that way.
Yeah,
So
it probably would have been the equivalent of the movie Serenity was to Firefly. It would have been something to that effect. Probably would have
yeah,
made a lot of people angry. But
yeah, exactly. So um, I don't know. This episode, all in all, for me, I mean, I thought it was solid. I mean, I'll give this a 7.5. I think, hail, Zax. Great to see you, buddy. Zax is in the house.
a lot of
Formerly
good loyal
Zax
supporters
7.
tonight.
Yeah.
And guys
Zax
like
is
Zax
always,
and
yeah.
yeah. I mean
Zax is
Shane. I see Shane everywhere. He's not.
yeah.
He's supporting my channel, my friend Macklin's channel, a bunch of other channels. Shane is everywhere, man. Good dude. Tony.
Shane is good, dude. You know, Yeah, so I don't know. This to me was probably a solid 7.5.
Yeah, I was going to give it an 8, so we're kind of on the same page there.
Yeah.
Again, Edward James Olmos' performance saves that scene that we were going back and forth about.
Mhm.
The bait and switch at the end is polarizing but clever in how they handle it later on. What else? There's a couple of, again, I like the whole second act with the Mexican standoff and the building of tension into that moment that Kara, diffuses the whole thing. That was actually really well done. If you look at it in isolation, just that one series of events, really good.
Mhm. Ooh, controversial opinion from Tony here. You want to read this one?
Ronald D. Moore is the start of the mystery boxes bullshit. BSG 2009, Lost 2010, Game of Thrones. I think that's why the comic book movies became popular when they started to tie the universes together. You could make that argument. I would say that some of those are more intentional than others. I would say, I think I alluded to this before when we were talking about the mystery of Kara. I think they were just kind of forced into a box due to the writer's strike and the uncertainty of their future. So they made choices that were ambiguous. I think if they had more certainty, they might not have done that. But guys like J.J. Abrams are just doing it because it's their MO. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what you're saying. Because I don't want to say that RDM is like a Abrams kind of dude, because I don't think he is. I think he's a better writer than that. So I don't think that he is just a mystery box guy and that's all he is. I don't disagree with Tony though, because it was around this time frame that this got started. Because look, I can point out examples to you guys all day. Is if you pay attention, this is why I didn't like Stargate Universe. Stargate Universe was a carbon copy of BSG. They tried to go and make put BSG in Stargate was what that was. It was BSG Stargate. They tried to with the whole dark and serious shit, and they went away from what made Stargate good, which was a combination of comedy, action, seriousness at times, and a good story arc within itself. No, they threw that all out the window, did a 180, and tried to be a Battlestar Galactica rise Stargate. They followed this same thing in many other shows. So, you started to get this copycatting of Battlestar, and that was the downfall of it because it was so good. And it was a downfall of science fiction in general afterwards for a long time, because all that Hollywood could do was, sit there and copy this.
And that hasn't changed. That hasn't changed at all. They're still trying to do that. Look at what they're doing with superhero movies and the MCU. They're trying to formulate everything as soon as something works. They're like, okay, write that down and then do it again, and they can never do it again because they keep trying to catch lightning in a bottle and make magic happen, and they just can't do it.
Yeah, and that's and that's a problem, and we're discerning people when we view stuff, when we watch these things, so we call it out, and we rightly call it out. We need to keep being critical and calling shit out when it sucks, because that's the only way that we can have good feedback. Unfortunately, now they hate our feedback, and then they like to turn it on the fans. So,
yeah, well, now it's weaponized, right? Now it's
now it's weaponized too. So, yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I totally get that, Tony. Well, I know that next week we will be back here with episode 11, because this was 10. What is next week's? Do we have
the episode title?
Yes.
Uno Momento. Sometimes a Great Notion.
Yeah, so we'll be doing Sometimes Great Notion here next week, guys. There's going to be, we're going to start to get into a very interesting portion of the story coming up here in the next, probably 3-4 episode arc. So keep an eye out for that. Sometimes a Great Notion kind of starts that ball rolling. So anyways, I will let Zach tell you where he can be found, and then we'll talk about some other things, some other cool ideas that we have, and we're going to continue to get some good guests for the Tuesday program for Rogue Resistance. If you guys have any guests, particularly political wise, that you enjoy, anybody, political personalities, will try to make a list for Rogue Resistance of people to line up there. I've got some interesting stuff coming up here on Pegasus Actual. I'm efforting to definitely get Nikki Klein in here. That is closer to reality, because via Chase Geyser, I'm going to put in a message to Chase, see if Chase can get a hold of her, because Chase knows her personally. And we're going to see if she can come on. I'm actually going to try to get a hold of Chase tonight. And if you guys don't know who Chase Geyser is, we had him on Tuesday on Rogue Resistance. He hosts the One American podcast. And we're going to effort to try and get Nikki, I think, for next week. So we'll do that. And go ahead, Zach. Let everybody know where you can be found.
So before we do that, and you were speaking about guests, I think we should set aside some time to figure out a plan for if we're going to do anything big for the finale review episode, in terms of not just how we're going to review it, but if we're going to have special guests or members of our chat who have been super loyal this entire time. And maybe we should try to do something special for that before we move on to 78.
No, Tony, no. I think she's well past that at this point.
And I want to say this ahead of time: if she actually does get on this show, it would behoove the rest of you to not bring that.
Yeah,
shit
let's not talk Nexium if she gets on.
Please just put that in a box for a night.
But no, Go. You were saying about the finale, though. Yeah, I have some ideas for that, and I'm gonna reach out to a variety of people when we get about I want to say 3 or 4 episodes out from the finale is when I'm gonna hardcore book the finale as far as what we're gonna have panel wise. So that is my personal timetable. Looking at it when I'm really gonna get in there hardcore. Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to Tom and see if I can't make that happen. Tony, that's a good suggestion. If anybody else, if you guys have any suggestions on things that you would want to see, like I said, I'm going to try to get at least some great stuff going for the finale. I know that also for the Tuesday show, as I said, those of you that watch Rogue Resistance and enjoy that, let me know, you guys, if there's any, again, political sort of personalities you want me to reach out to for that, because we've had a string of great guests on there lately, and I want to keep that going. So feedback would be appreciated. But Zach, I know you and I were talking about eventually, I'm talking about going back to Twitch. There's always the opportunity. I want to have that big showdown with you, Fleet versus Fleet, BSG Deadlock.
We'll get to it one of these days.
Yeah, guys, Zach and I were talking, for those of you that enjoy video games, and we both own the title BSG Deadlock on Steam, which, by the way, it is available on Steam if you like Battlestar, if you like strategy games. You can get BSG Deadlock now on Steam. Very, very good game. It is lore accurate. It is canon. So it is worth a purchase for sure.
It's on sale too, actually, right now.
Yeah, very, very cool game. But Zach and I were going to jump in a private match and go mano a mano, Fleet versus Fleet, Colonial versus Cylon, and see who the victor is when we have the grand duel of the Pegasus Actual podcast.
I'm going to need a lot more practice. Let me put it that way.
So we're going to do that one of these days. Actually, I want to kind of schedule that for, actually, I think we should do that on Saturday. Not this Saturday, but the Saturday following would be really good. We should just jump on Twitch and do that, dude. And I'll do it. And I'll do it, because I'll OBS from my end. You can OBS from your end. And I think if I just do the, there's a nice trick I used to do with friends when we used to multi-stream on Twitch, where you could just make a multi-stream link and people can watch both of us at the same time, both perspectives. So,
nice.
So we'll do that. So, not this Saturday, folks, but the following Saturday, Zach and I will effort to set that up. We will jump on our Twitch channels and we'll make that a Twitch exclusive. But we will have the grand battle of Pegasus Actual. So there you go. Wow. Look at this. Lady Mist coming in. And shout out to Lady Mist. She is an absolute darling. She is a moderator here. She is a supporter of so many people in this community, so many channels in this community. So I do want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, Lady Mist, for your continuing support. I appreciate you. Mama Heretic loves you. We all love you. And I want to say, to the chat, again, thank you guys so much. Without you, there is no us. Please, Zach, if you have anything you want to throw in there about what you got going on, please do.
I've got my typical content, my Monday, Wednesday, Saturday book readings on Booked with Brightest Day. I'm currently reading Star Wars Heir to the Empire, Dune, and Kai MFS's Space Crime Domino. I plan on finishing all of those books by the end of the year, so tune in for that. Those are very, very chill read sessions. Tuesday is my model building stream. Sometimes I game. Thursday is my dedicated gaming stream, which tonight went extremely long and took a weird turn when I let my friend take over for a bit. And then Thursday night, I'm here supporting Drew on Pegasus Actual, and Tuesday on Rogue Resistance.
Oh wow! Look at this! Look at this, Zach. Zach's is already going in. It said, "I'm betting on Zach. I've seen him play."
Yeah, but that's only against the computer. I've never faced a human opponent, so.
Ooh! Wow! Wow! Nobody's gonna back up the Asian, man. Where's my roof Korean? He's supposed to back me up, man. Come on, bro.
He's on the roof. Where do you think he is?
Yeah, man. No, ain't nobody backing me up. Come on now. It's all right. It's all right. I go in the underdog. I don't care.
I'm sure it won't even be close.
No. It'll be fun. It'll be real fun. I'm looking forward to that actually. So yeah, that'll be for sure next Saturday. So that will be on the Saturday, December 11th, folks. That'll be the Battle of Pegasus Actual. We'll make sure that Zach and I will get together. We'll nail down a time, and then we will do that together on Twitch, because that would be a great event for Twitch. So I'm looking forward to that.
Sounds awesome.
Oh man, Zach says he's trying to lull Drew into a false sense of security. Hello, Lady Miss. Babashi Washi said, "My bet is on the Galactica and its crew." I think we can generically name our ships on there, Bashi Washi. I'm just gonna, name every ship in my fleet to Pegasus.
I think there's actually like a list. You get to pick from a list.
Yeah.
And I think you can only get to pick one per, because I found that out the hard way when I went to use some footage for the first Cylon War Stories.
Actually, I'll name mine the Katesh, just because I like Claudia Black as in her Goa'uld form as Katesh. So I'll the Battlestar Katesh. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be some fun stuff, man. I can't wait for that. That's a great idea.
So I guess you're flat out just telling me I'm going to be the Cylons then.
I don't know, man. Well, you know what? We'll have to flip for it, dude. We'll be fair. Well, we'll flip for it.
Sounds good.
So, all right. Tony's like, get Katie.
Yeah, let's just try to get the whole crew on. Yeah, that's
get Mary McDonald. I mean, I'll try it. At least. Well, we know that I could talk to Polly. I could talk to Tom. We could try to see what we could do on EJO. I'm pretty sure that we've got a good line to Nikki, and we could get Nikki Klein on here. So we've got those for sure.
I would honestly love to throw a curveball and get Alessandro Giuliani. Get Gata in here.
Yeah, that's possible. Just see. So we'll try. I know that there's also one where we might be able to reach out and see if we can't get Candace McClure. So
nice. Just don't tell Walton.
We'll do. Oh God, yeah, I know. Poor guy. He might jizz his drawers.
Yeah.
Steven. He can't control himself. Poor guy. All right, folks. It has been a fun night. Thank you so much. I think I'm going to get ready, and I will probably jump over to Thursday Night Throwdown and join the hashtag Dick's Division. I'll be over there cutting up and carrying on with comics. Yeah, she we'll have a good time over there. So let's see. She's not unsafe space. Yeah, she. You know what? Yeah, she is. Bashi, the guy that I had on my. We go back and watch the Rogue Resistance we just did Tuesday. We had Chase Geyser on, and I know that he and Nikki have talked quite a bit on his podcast. So yeah, she is really based, man. She's very liberty minded. That's why I have a high amount of respect for Nikki Klein. So all right. Well, like I said, folks, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Please have a good night. Please enjoy your weekend. And we will definitely see you again next Thursday on Pegasus Actual. And we will see you this Tuesday coming up on Rogue Resistance. Don't forget that. And take care.
So say we all.
So say we all.